everyone, this is Kelly from The Truth in Story, and this is going to be a pure on, just a bullet journal how-to setup. A request from Patrick and a couple other people have messaged me, so I decided just to go ahead and do a video. It'll be clearly labeled. Those who don't want to watch this will be able to avoid it at all costs should they desire to. So I'm just going to show you how to set up a bullet journal at its very basis, right? At its very core principles, without any extra thrown in, just simply how to set up a bullet journal. Now, I recommend that you go to the website. I think it's just tinyrayofsunshine.com. She has this little handout on exactly, again, straightforward, no frills, how to set up a bullet journal. She has this handout in a variety of different languages. So I highly suggest that you pop over there. I'll put a link in the description bar, and you can print this out for reference for yourself. So that's number one. I also recommend that you just go to bulletjournal.com. That is the man who actually developed the system, and he has videos and such. Very nice, very clean, very modern web page, much like his clean modern bullet journal system. His name is Ryder Carroll, and he is the inventor. I love this quote by the creator of it, who says, "For the list makers, the note takers, the post-it pilots, the track keepers, and the dabbling doodlers, it's an analog system for the digital age that will help you track the past, organize the present, and plan for the future." I love that. So I suggest doing this, as well as going and watching the videos on bulletjournal.com, as well as there's a 101 bullet journal from Boho Berry, which I think she's fantastic, and so I will put a link to those that playlist as well of Bullet Journal 101, because this is just about clean, how to start a bullet journal. Now I will show you when I'm done what I've done with the bullet journal real quickly, although most of you have seen it. But first of all, we're just going to look at how to set up a bullet journal. And what you need to set up a bullet journal is very simple. You need a journal of some kind. You need a ruler, helpful. Actually, truthfully, you don't even really need a ruler for this setup. So no, we can throw this away. What do you need? You need a pen and you need a book. That's all you need to get started. Now, I do highly recommend a felt liner pen, because I love them. That's a Micron 05. There are 005s which are even thinner, but I'm using this one because it's a good thickness. I use it for doing out my lines, but at the same time, it's also going to be more viewable. It's going to be a little bit bolder than the 005. This is a Leuchtturm, which is a very popular usage for bullet journals. It's got graph paper in it, and it has this that kind of goes around it, and in the back it has a pocket. So I've been using this Leuchtturm since February, and I quite love it. You can also get Moleskines. The benefit of a Leuchtturm is that it has the page numbering on it, which is really handy. You don't have to go in and number your own pages, but you can. I'm numbering my own pages in my Midori, and it's not difficult or time consuming because you don't have to do them all at once. You just kind of do them as you go, right? But I do like the Leuchtturms. The Moleskines work for it. Any journal works for it. However, I highly recommend either a graph paper or those dot graph papers. People do it with lines, and you can do it with lines, but I do think that in the long run, it really helps to have the graph or the dots. So that is, I'm not going to go through mine because I do have private things in there, but I've used this for a while. But what I want to do is, now I'm still using it now that I have Midori. I'm just using it strictly for my regular job. Let's put another page so we don't see anything in between it. I'm using it for my regular job for flyer listing and just things in which I need to just kind of almost have scrap paper. But that way I'm still using it because I still have more than half of this journal to go to use. So We are going to show you though how to set up as if this is a clean new book and you're starting a clean new journal, right? And so this is going to be the really basic setup of a bullet journal. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, but I am going to cock it a little because otherwise it's just difficult to write. So the first step in a bullet journal is the index pages. Now, I will say that I don't use these as much as some people do. Other people might use it more than others. So, but I would definitely say, you know, have a good couple index pages at the very front of your journal. And this is going to allow you to be able to quickly find what you're looking for. If you're using one book in a whole year, you start to get a lot of things built up and that you may want to reference when things start so that you can quickly find it, which is the benefit of having page numbers and or putting them in. Right? So that's going to be your index pages. We'll come back to that in a minute. The next two pages are your future logging. So bullet journaling is really about an ongoing process of planning. It's not, its major benefit is not necessarily in future logging, but it has built in how to do so. And I personally I'm going to change these page numbers. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, because this would be at the very beginning of your journal, and 4, right? And then we can log right here. We can make a note here, future log. Right, and this is from page 1 through 4. So there is our very first index. So what is this future log, you say? Well, we're going to go ahead and title this future log. Again, this is the bare bones, no fanciness going on here. Oops, I don't know what I don't know what that F is supposed to be, but we just go for it. Future log. Okay, so that's our future log, and all we're going to do is split this page in thirds. Now, I have written here in the beginning of my thing that it is 37 inches, 37 squares tall, right? So that is going to be approximately 12 boxes to split it by thirds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, I'm not too picky about it. You just, and I'm going to take a ruler. So I lied, you still do need a ruler. It helps. You do have lines to follow, but boy, that's difficult if you are trying. And I'm just going to go on. Sometimes you want to make sure it's still lined up across the hump there, and go ahead and put your line on the other side. And then I'm going to go over here, do the next line, and make sure I'm lined up on this side and do the next line. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the next side, and you can kind of see that you can see through it. Just barely. It's not obnoxious at all, but that does allow you to just quickly go in and make the next one. And the next one. And the next one. And the next one. So, what are these for, you say? We can go ahead and label these future log. You can do fancy handwriting, but we are just doing basic bullet journaling, which requires no fanciness. So this is our future log, and here we are simply going to January, February, and you could spell it out, but I'm just for a quickness factor, not spelling the long ones. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. And there you have your future log done. And this allows you for when things that you can't log yet because it's going to be in the future. Or let's say, okay, I'm in January and I know I have to go to the dentist in May. So then I can just add dentist 5/21 at 6 p.m. Well, I wouldn't probably go to the dentist at 6 p.m., right? But I can log that in so that when I go into that month, I'll have a list of the things that I need to do in those particular months. So if we're over here in October, I can remind myself to embrace the magical, because I often forward plan those things. Embrace the magical, right? I can say, ooh, Halloween party at so-and-so's house. 10:31 at 8 p.m. All those kinds of things that are going to come up throughout the year. They're going to crop up, and you're going to need to make sure that you don't, that you have a place to stick them, because you're going to be in this current month, this current week, this current day, and so you're going to need a place to put future tracking. So here's the future log. There are many ways in which people have modified all of this, but we are just sticking with the basics of bullet journaling. So here's our index. Our very first pages 1 through 4 are our future logs, and we have them done. Look at that. How easy is that? Some people put, I really do like some people will put, let's say April, and you might actually put the weeks out and make one of those little, April 2016, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? And put out, I'm really just doing this. I have no clue. This is not the right dates. 12, 13, 14, 15, and so on, and make one of those little things so that you can kind of see how the weeks are split up into the corner of these. That's a way that people modify it, but the actual thing is just to have these blank spaces. So we're going to stop there. I'm not going to get into those kind of extra things yet. There are bazillions of videos on extra things in a bullet journal. So there we've done our future log pages. Bam, we're done. And now we're going to start on our month page. So we're going from year. Now we're going to go to the month. There are 2 things set up in the month, so we'll just do it for October. So we put the title, obviously the month at the top, October, at the top, and then on the other side are going to be October tasks. Okay? Now, we're going to go ahead and number these because that was 4. So now we have 5 and 6. And we can say to ourselves, okay, October starts on page 5. All right? And that's going to go until we're done with all of our dailies. And then we would put our final thing there. So we would go to October. Now what gets done here, there are 31 days in October, so you simply write along the side 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and 31. And then you would actually go in and do the days of the week. So for example, let's double check it in my bullet journal, because I actually don't do this, although I probably won't, let's be honest. I do like to have an actual month that I draw out, but the first started with a Saturday. Okay, so then alongside of it you would have Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 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 Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So you have the days of the month as well as the days of the week that that falls on. And this is where you would then put in your tasks. So here, let's say on the, what were we talking about? I think we were talking about on Saturday the 29th, possibly doing all day chat. 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., right? Got to over here, pay my tags. Right, have over here pictures of sister. You take her pictures. I'm just really randomly doing things. So this is where you would literally track any things that you have going on, like a monthly planner, so that you can see your month at a glance and you can add things in as the month goes. Over here are simply your tasks. Now, this is a running list for the month of October so that you can list out everything that has to get done. If something comes up and you know it has to get done in that month, you write it down. It's just a running list. Sometimes people will split this in half so you have even more. You can leave yourself room open, but we're just doing it strictly bullet journal style, right? And so you would simply start here and start listing all the things you have to do for in October. And throughout the month, something comes up but it's not in, it's in October, you're going to go ahead and write that up. Something comes up that's in November, then you're going to go to your future log and say to yourself, okay, I need to go to November because I have Thanksgiving to attend. Right? And you're going to write it in here. And then when October comes, or when you switch to November and you go to make this, you can look and say, oh, okay, look, I have a Halloween party on the 31st, so I'm going to go ahead and add that in, right? Party at 8 p.m. at so-and-so's house, whatever you want to do. So this lets you, when November comes and I'm setting up my November task, I can look and see what I need to have accomplished in that month and carry that over into here. So this is simply tasks, is a checklist. It's just listing what needs to get done, what events there are, everything that's going on in October. And you're going to continue to use this throughout the month of October. So there we have our October and our October tasks. Bam, we're done. The next page that comes in will be your actual daily log. And so this is simply going to start, let's see what day of the week it was, actually on Sunday. So you would literally just write on here Sunday, because we know we're in October, right? Now you can write up here just daily. You could write October daily, that way it's very clear, but we're just going to put daily. So this is where our dailies start on these pages, which are pages 7 and 8, right? And you literally write up here the day of the week. So this is starting on Sunday, and it is the 1st. And then you simply start to log what do you need to get done that day. Now this is where we're going to take a pause, and let's, here's my testing pages back here. So we're going to take a pause here and look at the bullets and significators. This, again, there are many ways to do this, but I am simply going to do this how it is set up originally. I've changed a few of these, but I do, for the most part, when I remember, I do it the way that it's set up. And if you go on your printout, it's right there as well. So we're going to make, this is for list makers of the world, right? And so these are the bullets, these are the bullet that you're going to use to indicate what something is. So a single dot here equals a task. This is something that needs to get done. So if I'm over here on Sunday and I say to myself, walk Isabel, it's a task that I need to get done, and so it has a dot there. I might have a bigger task that says do flyer. That's a task that needs to get done. So those are tasks, right? So then the next one is when is it completed? When we've done our task, we simply put an X through it. So I already took Isabel for a walk, so I can cross that out. It's done. I don't have to do anything with it. Okay? Now, then there are two arrows. So let's say we have tasks here, because we list out everything either the night before or that first in the morning, depending on how you are. We don't get it done. Okay, so that is what we do something called migration. And so that arrow pointing this way tells us we have migrated that to the next day, right? Now, the other way that we can stick our arrow is pointing in the other direction. And in this one, we have taken and scheduled it. So here I'm going to give these two. So I'm going to say I want to clean all my windows today, this day. So I say to myself, at the end of the day, I didn't get around to doing the flyer. This has to get done though. So I'm going to migrate that to the next day. So let's say I've done my list, and I'm just going to come down here because you literally just start the next day. It's Monday the 2nd. Okay, I don't do this arrow until I've actually migrated. So I do it at night. So when I'm planning my next day, I will say to myself, okay, I didn't get that flyer done. So now I'm going to put the flyer down here, and I'm going to mark it with an arrow that tells me I've moved that to the next day. Now, I think about cleaning the windows, and I'm looking at the rest of this month, and I'm saying to myself, it's simply not going to happen. Let's be realistic. I can schedule that and add it to, let's say I'm going to do that in November now. So I can go over to November and say, okay, you need to clean your windows in November before the holidays, okay? I have scheduled that. I have scheduled it to a future thing, and now I'm pointing back to the future log, and it tells me I've put that into another month. Okay, so we're going to keep moving. It's not complicated, but I want to keep moving here. So a circle like this indicates that there is an event. So that is something that is planned event, generally has a time. So let's say I'm going to go to the park with Katie 6 p.m. It's an event, it is a scheduled time, and so that gets a circle. When I've actually done that event, same thing, I've completed it, and I can put an X through it. That tells me I managed to do that. If I'm going to migrate it, we change plans, I'm going to migrate it, right? And go ahead and put the arrow there. If it gets canceled, you draw a line through it, and that says it got canceled, and it's nothing's happened with that because it's been canceled. Okay, so the next official one is a dot line, and this tells us it's just a note. It's just information that's put on here that I just wanted to note. So I've made a note to myself. Check out Whisper Lenormand. I could put that as a task, or I could just say, it's a very cold day today. It's a piece of information. There's nothing I really need to do on it. So I probably shouldn't have used this for an example. It could be more along the lines of, found out so-and-so is coming to town, or blah, blah, blah. It's just information that I maybe want to do something with at some point, but I just want to jot it down. It's a note of information. Now, then, so those are the basic bullets that you use. And again, people modify these, but they work as they are. And so I do them pretty much the way that I've shown you right here. So these are types of tasks or bullets. These are the bullets here. Now, there are also signifiers. Signifiers. And these you add to the side of these if you want to signify something. So let's say I have to do some signs. Okay, now this star next to it says I need to prioritize that. That does not need to get migrated because I have got to get that done. Now, I will say that I do this differently. I use, because there's another one, so the star here indicates it is a priority. That may be a priority event. I may have an event to meeting at bank, 4 p.m. So that may be an event, but it's priority. I need to pay attention to that. It's important, right? So it just lets us know it's a priority. The next one is a exclamation point. This is an inspiration, and this says inspiration. Now, I personally use that next to something that needs to get done. I don't star things. I actually put, okay, I have a flyer to get done. This to me says, get it done, right? Don't be messing around with it. Don't be pushing it forward. That's a to-do that needs to be priority. That's how I do it. But again, I'm just giving you the way that it's set up to do. So an inspiration is generally something attached to a note, but it's something that you want to remember. Excuse Isabel. Some inspirational piece that you have had an epiphany. So life is short. I've had this epiphany. It's put in note form. And it's inspirational. Isabel, I'm sorry, but she just is who she is. And I already wrote it down, so we're just going to roll with it. So that's an inspiration. The other signifier that they have is a little bit of an eyeball shape here. So you kind of go like this with a little eye here. And that is an explore signifier. That would be more along the lines of the whisper Lenormand. So we're gonna say whisper Lenormand. We're going to put a little eyeball. That means I need to follow up and do some research into that particular thing. Now, I don't use that ever, but I'm just putting it on here so that you can see the different signifiers that go on top of or next to these primary bullets here. And that's it. That's all to it. Now, some people make more and more of those and they have their own system. I really recommend at the front that you write out yours. So like I put this here and you can see it changed actually. And so I kind of changed how I do things, and actually it's changed even more from when I was doing it. But it's good to have, just kind of stick that there. I also stick the size of the grid so that when I'm trying to split things up, I don't have to count them all over again. I kind of know it's 28 wide by 37 tall. I have that also for my Midori one. So you want to kind of keep that until you get real comfortable with it. And that's all there are. So at the end of the day, I'm going to look and say to myself, okay, I was supposed to do the flyer. I was supposed to do the signs, and it was a priority. No, I didn't get it done. So now I'm putting it in signs. So now I personally have 2 priority things to get done tomorrow when I go in to do it. I don't tend to, things like that I want to look into and such as that, as long as it's on the same page, I don't really move it. And there's a lot of people who do that even with migration. So let's do this page. So let's see, we've gone through here, walk Isabel. Right, pay bills, lunch with you know, the president at 2 p.m. So I've gone through my day here, and I go ahead and say, okay, I paid my bills, I walked Isabel, I got the flyer done, and I went to lunch with the president. I didn't finish the sign, so now it's the next day. I just start the next day, Tuesday, the 3rd. And I've not done the signs yet, but see, I can see when I'm looking at my spread, I can see that the sign is open. So until I don't rewrite it down until I've switched pages for some reason. So I've switched pages. But, you know, the traditional way is migrate it. And this is why I suggest migrating it. Because I do migrate all of them daily. And the reason is, so here's the signs. I've migrated the signs here. I thought, oh, I didn't get it done. So now I've had to put the sign in again. And so now I'm telling myself, look, you're really, you know, you're procrastinating that. And if you do it enough times, there have been many things that I have gotten done because I got sick of migrating it, or I really got to see where, you know what, you're really procrastinating that. Why are you procrastinating it? Just get it done. And then I will go, okay, let me get those signs done and cross it off the list because, bam, I need to get that done. Okay, and you just continue along through this all the way through the month. Now, bullet journaling also has one other thing that I'm going to show you. They're called collections. So let's say we're going to go always the thing about bullet journaling is you're always going to the next page. You don't give yourself extra pages, you just go to the next blank page. And so this is a thing called collections. Now, you wouldn't write this up here, you'd write what the actual collection was, but I think it's just a page of something. So let's say over here, I want to do a wish list. Okay, a deck wish list. I would simply say to myself, okay, what page is that? That was 7, 8, 9, 10. So on page 10, I started my deck wish list. Okay, well, I want the Oracle Day Reflects. That's on my wish list. I want the Magician's deck. I want the, well, we know here, Whisper Lenormand, let's say. Okay, I'm not sure if I want that yet, maybe. And then I might put next to the note a little eyeball here that says, you know what, I need to check it out because I'm not sure. I may say, oh, I might want the Pagan Otherworlds. I need to check it out a little bit further. And put the little eyeball there. And then I check it out and I find, you know what, I really don't want that. I could say, oh, I want the Circle of Life. When that came up, I want the Circle of Life tarot. Well, I bought it, so now I put an X to it. That one's bought. And this is called a collection. And this is just going to be an ongoing list of my wish list. So then I could come over here to my index and say on page 10, here we have deck wish list. That is a collection, and that can be thousands of different things, whatever you want to keep track of. On page 10, that can be a list of books that you're reading this year. It could be a list of books that you want to read. That could be all kinds of things that may end up being, right? And that's it. That is a bullet journal. You continue to go along until November comes up. And November comes up, I've done my dailies. November, I skip daily. Let's just say, you know what, I've gone in here, I've written all these things, I've done my Tuesday. A week later, I've realized, oh, I haven't bullet journaled for a week. You know what? It's Monday the 12th. You just start in the next clean page and just continue going. You don't stress about it. You don't worry about it. You just keep moving. And you keep moving until the end of the month. Okay, November comes. Alrighty, well, it's November. We've got November. We've got November tasks. We write our dates all the way down. We write our days of the week all the way down. We start our task. We look over here in our plan ahead and see, okay, Well, what do we have going on for November? Well, we've got Thanksgiving. I need to get Thanksgiving plans done. I need to have clean my windows because I said I was going to clean my window there. And then, bam, we start with November 1st. Again, these are made up days. Monday, the 1st, and we just start tasking and listing and keep moving. And that is what a bullet journal is. In its very stripped down sense. So like I said, make sure you go to bulletjournal.com. That is the original site, and it has a great video and all kinds of information there. I will also say to go to Tiny Ray of Sunshine.com and also to Boho Berry's YouTube channel, which I will put a link to all three of these in the description bar below so that you can just click there and go there if this is something that you're interested in. Now, that is just the bare bones. You can put in YouTube search engine bullet journals and find amazing degrees. Go to Pinterest, put in bullet journal. You will find so many different ideas on how to amp up your bullet journal that you won't even know what to do with yourself. Instagram channels, YouTube channels, blogs, Pinterest account. There's just tons of stuff up there on how to ramp up your bullet journals. Now, I am currently using my Midori, which I am in love with, and because of the nature of that I'm using small booklets instead of a full-on, you know, thing that's going to last, say, for a whole year or for 4 months or a quarter, depending on how well you do it. I've split my bullet journal into basically two things. This one holds my lists and collections. So I haven't indexed it all because I've just started migrating it. Future videos, brain dump for everything that I want to look into. My deck wish list for Tarot, Oracle, and Lenormand. My pre-list, as Bart likes to call it, if I'm going to be looking into a particular deck. What I'm waiting for. This was just watching a video on making headers and getting some ideas. Anything that I'm going to do that's a long-term list, I'm keeping it separate because this is going to be coming in and out much faster, and I don't want to rewrite those lists all the time. So that's the only modification there I have made. I do always do a monthly, so if I do a month and then I do a week, I have my trackers. I had to hide this. Then I go into my dailies that I start, and this is pretty much off of Boho Berries. I can time track here. I mostly do my sleep at the moment. I have the whether it was sunny, the degrees of the temperature, and then my list here. This over here is where I track all of my readings. I don't put them in with my dailies anymore, which makes it a little bit easier to show. But then here's more dailies: Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I did a reading for myself. And I just put in Mind, Body, Spirit check-in, Curious Oracle. I put what the cards are, and it just lets me know. I also have a different way that I journal things, but this just keeps it within here. So, you know, then I have my Saturday, and then it started a new week. I had Sunday, and I had enough time. I don't normally do this, but I had enough space that I just went ahead, put my trackers in, started my new week, and then these are my dailies that I've started. And so that is how I currently do my bullet journaling in my Midori. I love this refillable pen, can I say. This is a Pilot Coletto in a 5. And I have some colors in there. I have a mechanical pencil coming that's going to replace one of these colors so that I have my 0.3 millimeter that I like to sketch with right in there, and so I have it all right in here. But there are so many possibilities, but I just wanted, for the sake of Patrick, as well as for others that have asked, just what exactly how would you set up and start using a bare minimum bullet journal. And so there you go. I hope that you found that helpful. You look at the resources in the description bar if it's of interest to you, and then of course you can expand from there. So I hope you enjoyed it and have an absolutely wonderful day.